Okay, everybody, first essay of the semester. Professor Coomer here. What we're going to be talking about today is the process of working up to the eventual essay. Now, there is a writing process, and this is something that you're, of course, going to discuss with your instructor no matter what writing course you're taking. We followed the same writing process in my class. So the first essay that I'm asking you to write is this. I'm asking you to write me an essay to make an argument. Now, I've given you some readings. I've given you a subject that I want you to make an argument for. And so, I want you to read the assignment sheet. Again, in a reading and writing class, this is reading and writing intensive. You need to be able to read the assignment sheet well and understand what you're being asked to do. But in this first essay, I'm asking you to make an argument, a very basic argument about a topic that I've given you stuff to read about. Those readings may be on Blackboard, they may be in your textbook. So what I'd like you to do is read those two. Make sure you understand exactly what I'm asking you to write about, and then apply the writing process. Now, the first part of the writing process is what we call the invention portion. The invention portion of the writing process has to do with, and again, it's going to be brainstorming, clustering, and free writing. Now, you're going to be asked to do one of these, or if not all three of these, for every essay that you write. And this is not just something that you should learn just for an English class, just for a composition class. The reason why you're learning this is so that you can apply it to other classes too. Okay, it's not just for Comp 1 and then you're done. So you're going to do brainstorming, clustering, or free writing. Now, let's take these one at a time and see kind of what they are. Now, free writing, all right, I'm going to grab my little eraser here. Let's talk about free writing first, because this is what normally most people will do is, okay, normally before you've really been trained in essay writing, the average person just is like, well, I got to write an essay, so I'm just going to start writing and then I'll finish when I finish and then I'll see what happens, right? Well, that is actually one good thing to do if you're trying to come up with ideas. Because during the time that you just start writing, you're going to come up with some great ideas, and maybe you'll have some really good points. Now, that would not be a great essay, most likely, because it's just off the cuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't want to keep. There's going to be a lot of junk, a lot of just filler and unpolished thoughts that you're going to have. So, but it's great for getting ideas out. So free writing, again, free writing would just be, just like it sounds, free writing. So you start writing about the thoughts on the topic. In this case, we're making an argument. So in this case, you would want to think about all the things that you would want to talk about if you're going to make this kind of an argument. So you're probably going to bring up information, just basic information that the audience is going to need to know to make a choice. Because remember, you're trying to convince your audience that your audience needs to do a certain thing. So you're going to probably bring up all the facts, some basic things that they need to know. You're going to bring up your opinion. You're going to bring up maybe the opposite side, their opinion. You're going to do that as it comes to you. Okay? No, you're not really trying to think about structure at this point. You're not really trying to think about, does it all work? You're just trying to get your ideas out. So you do free writing. It's just, you let yourself go. Now, again, the danger is, this is what untrained people do when they try to write an essay. If you've not been trained in essay writing, you just free write, okay? And then you hand it in. But that's not what we're doing. This is just one step for the eventual process. The next part would be, we'll say clustering. Okay? Clustering is really a popular thing among people who are visually minded, people who Maybe you're an artist, maybe not. Personally, I'm not much for clustering, but a lot of people really like this, and I'll demonstrate. So let's suppose I am writing I'm writing an argument. I'm going to argue that Vincennes University needs to have a water park. Okay, so I'm going to make a bubble, and I'm going to say water park. Okay. There is my first bubble. Now what we do is we free associate, okay? And what that means is basically anything that I can think of that has to do with reasons why we should have a water park, or things that my audience is going to need to know in order to make that decision that we need a water park. I'm going to have them here. So for instance, maybe I might say, okay, a water park is a good money maker. Okay, so if I'm going to try to make the point that we need to have a water park, I'm going to maybe say, well, it's a good money maker. It's something that a lot of people are going to want to come to. They're going to be willing to pay money to go to this water park. So I could also, what are some ideas that come with making money? So the university, why wouldn't they want to make money? That would be great. That money could be used to, fund more programs, right? If the university is making more money, then maybe they can fund some more programs. Maybe they'll offer babysitting. Maybe they'll offer a transport system. Maybe they could upgrade some of those older buildings and oh, wait a minute, that's not a program. That's another thing, upgrade buildings. Okay? See how these things, they just kind of pop up into your head. The reason why we get them down is because, believe me or not, or you don't have to believe me to try this, but studies have shown when you put these things down on paper, you're going to be more creative, because no longer are you trying to hold all of this stuff in your head. You're not trying to hold it there anymore. So your hands are free. I can only hold so much in my hands. I can only hold so much in my head before I just can't do anything else. So what we're trying to do is free up our hands, or free up our head for more creative ideas. Okay, water park, maybe something that has nothing to do with money. Maybe I'm going to start a new bubble and I'm going to say the community. So what I'm thinking here is if Vincennes University had a water park, the whole community would benefit, right? That's a good reason to have a water park. Not only is it going to make money, like I've already talked about, but it would also benefit the community. You might have stronger partnerships. I'll say strong partners. Okay, maybe stronger partnerships. And maybe what does that mean? Well, maybe that means you have community functions. You're a part of the community. Okay, I'm just going to kind of scribble a little bit, but just getting the idea of what we're doing here. So maybe you become part of the community. Every organization should want to be part of their community, right? Well, guess what? If you have a water park, these are some things, and maybe I can think of some other ways that this water park would make Vincennes University a good part of the community. So every bubble leads to other bubbles. Every idea leads to other ideas. So as you cluster, you may fill up a whole page. You may even need another page, okay? Let your mind free. And the beauty behind clustering is you are freeing up your mind. As soon as you come up with an idea, you let the paper hold the idea. You're not having to hold all these ideas up in your head. Yes, you still remember what you wrote down, but the cool thing is you can just go. You can just let it go. And you don't have to worry about, I gotta remember all these other things. Okay, so that is clustering. And remember, with clustering, it's gonna be, you may come up with some ideas that you don't use. Maybe the community thing is something that, I thought about it, maybe my audience wouldn't really care about the community thing. Fine. No big deal. I didn't lose a ton of time. I just came up with the idea. The last one I want to talk to you about is brainstorming. Okay? Brainstorming. So what do we mean when we brainstorm? So you probably have heard this term before. This is a pretty commonly used term. What we do when we brainstorm is it's also called making a list, okay? So if you want to just say, making a list, you can do that as well. This is a lot like clustering. It's a lot like free writing, but instead of, just writing out full sentences, instead of using clusters, little bubbles from one idea to the next, what you'll be doing is this. You're going to write down multiple reasons or topics that you'll discuss in your essay. So for instance, if maybe my topic is the swimming pool, or let's call it a water park. So water park's way cooler. So let's just do water park. What I'm going to do is this. I will make a list. What are some great things that people would love about a water park? Well, we already talked about this in clustering. And just so you know, you can do both, or you can just do one or the other. The idea about the community. Okay? That's going to be something that is important I may want to bring up. So the community involvement. Okay? If I want to, I can start another list just for community involvement. Okay? And just write down other things that have to do with how the water park would help Vincennes University become more involved in the community. I could. I don't have to. Just writing this down is something that I can expand on later. Perhaps I want to bring up the money issue. Okay? More money. I've written it down, so now I can wait till later to expand on it, or again, I can start a list and write all those things down. What we do and what we have found, and people have been writing essays for ages, okay? Thousands of years this has been done. If you give yourself this time to dedicate yourself to saying, okay, what are some things that people need to know? What are some reasons why I'm right? Because remember, in this first assignment, we're just trying to give an argument. If you do this, if you give yourself that, you're going to have a better essay, because you're not just graded on grammar, spelling, things like that. When we read your essay in college, we want to make sure that you've actually put thought into it. You've given a thoughtful argument for why your thesis statement is correct. So these are 3 different methods that you can use. Again, I could keep going. What are some other things that we might want to know about a water park? Well, maybe just some information. Maybe I know some things about a water park. Maybe I'm going to research a little bit about the topic so that I know what I'm talking about. Again, in the assignment that you have right now, you have at least 2 writings, 2 essays that you've been required to read about the topic. Maybe you can use some of that information to further your argument. So think about these things and don't skip this process. You're new at essay writing in the college world, okay? This is the next level. We expect people to be trained in essay writing throughout their entire college career, whether you stay at Vincennes University or you go to another university. Essay writing is part of your future. So this is the first step. This is the invention step. We've got brainstorming, clustering, and free writing. Those are your first 3 steps. You can do whichever you like. You can do all 3 if you want. But give yourself the ability to think of something, then put it on paper so your brain can keep going. Your brain's way faster than anything else. Anything else. We don't have anything faster than your thoughts. So write it down, let your brain go. Give yourself that chance. All right, now go do it.